as soon as you recognize, wow, I am capable of that, and you recognize that there is a monster inside of you, so now you understand that there's a monster inside of you, and that means that there's something inside of you that can be harnessed when necessary, because how do you fight against evil? Maybe sometimes it takes a monster to defeat a monster. But what's the difference between an evil monster, and a virtuous monster? Well, that you're tasked with figuring out. That you're tasked with understanding for yourself. But if you stare into those dark places, you're going to become those dark places, because you're going to populate the unknown with your imagination. And you're going to indulge yourself in it. And it isn't because there's anything wrong with you. There isn't anything wrong with you beyond just being human. But it does mean that it forces us to recognize our own weaknesses so that we can overcome them. Not so we can accept them, not so that we can indulge in them, not so that we can post on Instagram, if you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. Which it seems that people who post that are always at their worst. But instead, we're tasked with being able to see those things and to not become the evil monster. Walk that balance. Yeah, you're almost lost in it. And you're gazing into something. It's like you're staring into it, and you're almost lost in it. And so he's talking about gazing into an abyss here. And he chooses an abyss, this word, the abyss, which we said at the beginning, was like a bottomless, like dark hole. And so when you're staring into a bottomless dark hole, what are you staring into? Nothing. So what are you lost in? You're lost in your thoughts. So when you're staring into an abyss and you're lost in your thoughts, how do I ask this? What are you staring into? Yourself. The scariest damn thing in the world to stare into. Because what's inside of yourself? By the way, I won't press you on that, because there might be a really good chance that you don't know how yet to answer that question. What's in your enemies? What's inside of your enemy? Oh, selfishness, lying, arrogance, ambition. Yeah, terrible person. What's inside of you? I asked, what's inside of you? I'm sorry, what was that? Yeah, probably. Probably, because the very things that we see in other people, they're not the exception, man. They're not the exception. A lot of times the difference between their selfishness and my selflessness is where I'm standing. I tell my classes all the time, you guys are incredibly selfish. Really, you are. I wish you guys spent less time thinking about yourselves and spent more time thinking about me. Stop being so selfish. Stop being so greedy. You guys should give me more of your money and stop being so greedy with your money. A lot of us live like that, by the way. We laugh at that, but that's true. So oftentimes we do that. I don't know if you've ever been in an argument with somebody or even just a discussion with a person, and you're telling them something that's important to you, and they're like, I don't know, you're just sitting there talking about yourself all the time. It's like, okay, let's focus on you for a minute. Oh, okay, yeah, let's do that. Maybe it's not that explicit, but it certainly feels like that. Like they want to talk about themselves all the time, but then when it comes time to talk about yourself, they don't really seem to want to hear it. And I wonder if they think in their heads, man, this person's so selfish. They're always talking about themselves. In fact, I wonder if we've ever been in that view, that if we went back and really looked at it, we would see something inside of them. Because oftentimes, we don't really, heck, none of us sees the world the way that it really is. None of us sees other people the way that they really are. We see the world the way that we are. We see other people the way that we are. I mean, we think about when there's something that's unknown, how do we fill the unknown? Well, we populate the unknown with our imaginations. A good example, when you guys are little kids, and you get in bed, you turn off the light, and the closet is open, just about that much, and you peer into the closet, and you're a little kid. What's in the closet? A monster. And you know that, and you know that monster is there. Have you ever seen the monster? No. But you know it's there. You know it's there. Now, what does this monster look like? Describe him for me. He's tall. Okay. What else?
Dark.
Dark. What color?
Black.
So they're this tall thing. Okay, what else?
Long arms.
Long arms.
He has a baby face.
Yeah. These are their arms. I know you're all amazed by my art. Don't worry, it stays the same throughout the whole year. What else? What's that?
One eye.
It's only got one eye? What color's the eye?
Red.
Red? Well, I wish I had a red marker, but my red markers keep getting stolen. So I guess orange is going to have to be. But imagine it being red. So they got one red eye.
Sharp teeth.
What's that?
Sharp teeth.
Sharp teeth. Oh, I wish I had red to make blood on the teeth, but we'll make the sharp teeth too. That's its mouth with sharp teeth. I have to tell you, because you'd never know it otherwise. Oh, what else?
Claws.
What was that?
Claws.
Oh, it's got claws.
Yes.
Yeah. Unintentionally, too. No designs on them.
Horns.
What else?
Horns.
Horns. Man. Oh, shit. It's scary. Stop laughing. Whatever. We'll leave. It's got rabbit ears. No, those are horns. Anything else? Okay, it's good enough. It's tall. It's got horns. It's got one eye, sharp teeth, claws. It's tall. It's dark. And by the way, what other colors can it be besides dark? Sometimes. Sometimes it'll be purple. Sometimes it'll be blue. Sometimes it'll be green. They can vary. You guys saw Monsters, Inc., yes? Yeah. Now, when you're a little kid, where have you seen this before? Under your bed. Yeah. In the closet. Have you ever been walking down the street and you saw this thing walking past you on the sidewalk? No, you've never seen this before. Did your parents ever go, all right, before bedtime, careful of this thing, and show you a picture of it just before you fall asleep? All right, love you, bye. No. You've imagined this thing. Now, describing yourself when you're a little kid, are you big or little? Are you guys big or little when you're a little kid? Okay, thank you. Last year they stared at me. It's in the sentence. Are you big or little when you're a little kid? Like medium. You're little. You have regular arms. You have like smooth skin. Do you have sharp teeth?
No.
You barely have any teeth at all. Any teeth you have, they're rounded and they just fall out for no damn reason. You're walking down the street and a tooth just falls out. You have just regular fingernails, no claws. Understand that this thing is the complete opposite of everything that you are. That's what you're projecting into the closet, something complete opposite of what you are. Everything that you are is normal. Everything else that's the opposite is frightening. It's scary. And if I ask you, how does this thing behave? It eats children. What the? Have you ever seen a monster eat children before? So why is that in your imagination? Now, here's the trick. Is that monster in your closet?
No.
Where's the monster then?
In your head.
No, it's in your head, but someplace else even closer to home. You're right, it's in your head. But it's in you. It's in you. Just like almost everything else that you project out into the world. When you project how a person's going to react to you, maybe if you have no experience with a person before, you'll look at them and go, oh, this person's going to hate me. You're projecting something out into the world. You're populating the unknown with your imagination. You look into the darkest places in the world, you're projecting what you think is going to be like based off of what's inside of you. It can't come out of you unless it's in you. A lemon doesn't come from an apple tree, I think we said before. Grapes don't come from a pear tree. The only thing that comes out of you is whatever's inside of you. This monster that's coming out of you is coming out of you because it's in you. So, hopefully you understand this. By the way, I'm not telling you guys, any of you guys who babysit little kids, I'm going to tell you something that you already know, but now you can articulate. There's a monster inside of every little kid. A little kid, if you don't, they want to eat a fork for some reason. You won't let them. They flip out. They lose their minds. They start kicking and screaming and they cry. Why? because there's a monster inside of them. You know, one of the fastest ways to tell if a little kid has high intelligence, the younger you are when you start lying, that's an indication of high intelligence. Yeah. In other words, if you have and I'm not telling you teach them to do it. I'm saying if they're a little kid and they lie just, really early on, you can tell they have high intelligence. Now, that doesn't mean you teach them to lie because it will make them smart. That's not the point. And if they do lie, don't be, oh my gosh, you're so smart, good for you. Don't encourage them in this. But the point is that the reason it indicates they have high intelligence is because that tells you that they know that just with words, they can change the world. That's a really sophisticated concept. That means that they understand that they know stuff that you don't know, and that they can change your behavior with just words. Without having to force you to, without having to grab you and push you out a door, they can get you to walk out of a door with words. By telling you something that's not true, they can create an alternate universe, which is what lying does, which is one of the reasons it's so bad, because lying creates an alternate universe that you're forcing other people to live in. And you can get confused yourself about which reality is real and which one's not. You can convince yourself that the monsters are in the closet. You can convince yourself that the monsters are inside of the other person the whole time, refusing to acknowledge, refusing to admit, refusing to seek out and discover that the monsters are actually inside of you. Like one of the questions I like to ask people early on in the semester, imagine yourself living in 1930s Germany. Do you think that you could have been a concentration camp guard? Do you think you could have done the things that those guards did? Do you think that you could have carried out a genocide? And most people's immediate answer is, oh, not me, we'll clutch our pearls. Not me, I would never. And then we all kind of, so brave. I don't know if that's the case, then why did so many people go along with it? Why did so many people choose to do it? Is it because somehow I'm so much virtuous, I'm so much more educated, I'm so much more moral than everybody else? Or is it perhaps that I don't really understand that monster that's out in the world is actually inside of me? It only manifests in the world because it's inside of us. I would suggest to you that if your immediate answer is no way, you probably don't know yourself very well. You don't understand the pressures that could be brought down on a person. Now, maybe you are somebody who would have stood up against it. Maybe you are somebody who would have been willing to sacrifice your own life, the life of your family, the life of your friends, the life of people who owe you money, anybody who would have been punished because you didn't go along with it. Maybe you are that virtuous that you've been willing to sacrifice everybody in your life to stand up for this one principle, to die for people you don't know. Doubt it? Maybe, because there were some who did do that. But as soon as you recognize, wow, I am capable of that, and you recognize that there is a monster inside of you, well, now you understand that there's a monster inside of you. And that means that there's something inside of you that can be harnessed when necessary, because how do you fight against evil? Well, maybe sometimes it takes a monster to defeat a monster. But what's the difference between an evil monster, and a virtuous monster? Well, that you're tasked with figuring out. That you're tasked with understanding for yourself. But if you stare into those dark places, you're going to become those dark places, because you're going to populate the unknown with your imagination, and you're going to indulge yourself in it. And it isn't because there's anything wrong with you. There isn't anything wrong with you beyond just being human. But it does mean that it forces us to recognize our own weaknesses so that we can overcome them. Not so we can accept them, not so that we can indulge in them, not so that we can post on Instagram, if you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. Which it seems that people who post that are always at their worst. But instead, we're tasked with being able to see those things and to not become the evil monster. Walk that balance. Hopefully you have a virtuous monster inside of you, because they're necessary sometimes. I hope everybody right here has a virtuous monster inside of you, in case anybody ever comes through that door shooting. I'd like to believe, I refer to this as the martyr's row. Because if that person comes through that door, I hope there's a monster inside of all of you. And not a person who goes, ah. Because then we're all doomed. But it's the virtuous monster that's the challenge. So,
Is that why your desk is back here?
100%. That's right. And whoever sits near the desk back there, they have a very, very, very important job in case something goes down. Delete the browser histories. Everybody. Slide your phones over there, we all defend it, and we go down as heroes. Yes, remember, there are 35 students in here, but only 2 teachers, so protect the valuable ones. Questions, comments, concerns, complaints, criticisms, critiques? Well, happy Tuesday. Yeah.